Alright, so it starts out pretty easy at the top. All you're doing is finding the missing angle, which we've already looked at. So first we got to find the value of x, and then we are going to order the sides from smallest to largest, which connects to what we did yesterday, okay? So if I want to find the missing angle, what is my first step? Yes, very good. Alright, so we're going to add the two angles that we do know that are given, okay? Which equals 122. Very good. So your next step would be to subtract from the total, which is 180. Okay, when I subtract that, I get so x equals 58, and I can go ahead and just label it on the inside as well so I can know that that is the correct angle. Okay, now when we are ordering from smallest to largest, if I'm looking for the smallest side, how am I going to find that? Across from the smallest angle. Very good. My smallest angle is going to be 57, so across from that would be AC. Okay, we just connect the points and we name it based on that. So that would be line AC. Then I would go back, I'm going to look for the next angle, which would be 58. Across from that would be AB. Okay, and then the last one would be obviously 65, and across from that would be very good. Alright, so that's how it's going to work for each one. So next we're solving for x again, but this time we are ordering from largest to smallest. Okay, so on here we have one angle that's measured with a square, which means it's a what? So my first step would be to add those two amounts. Okay, and my answer would be what? 136. All right, so from there I'm going to subtract from the total, which is 180. And I get what as my missing angle? So x equals 50 on this problem. The next thing you're going to do is order them from largest to smallest. So this time I'm looking for the biggest angle, which would be what? 90. Across from that would be KL. So make sure we fill this in as well. Sorry, that would be 50. So my first side would be KL. Okay. Next, I would look for the next largest angle, which is 50. Across from that would be KM. And your last one would be across from 40, which would be ML. Good. Very good. All right. So now moving on to the next one. Notice here that we have an algebra problem here in the corner. You're going to see those like that, especially on the paper you're about to do as well. So the first thing you're doing here is you're solving for x again, and you are also still ordering your sides from largest to smallest in this case. So the way this works, you would do the same first steps. 60 plus 70 would be your first step. You would add those two known amounts, which would be 130. Next step, you would subtract. Okay, so that means that this angle is 50, but we also still have to solve for the value of x, because that's what the question is asking me to do. So in order to do that, I would set up 8x plus 2 what? How should I set that up? Equals 50. Good. Okay, so you would just go from there, solve just like a regular algebra problem, subtract from your whole number, and then divide. So x equals 6. That is your first answer, 6. From there, you're able to order your sides from largest to smallest. So what is my largest angle? So across from that, line XY. Okay. Next would be 60. Across from that, XZ. Okay, and then last would be 50, which would be your last remaining side. All right. Okay, last problem here. Again, we're starting off by solving for x, okay, and then listing the sides, this time from smallest to largest. All right, so we should notice here that we have two angles that are not known, okay, but we do know one. So what do we think our first step should be? Yes. So start by subtracting. Which would be 96, all right? However, that means that both of these together equal 96. So you should be setting it up as x plus 59, what else? Plus x plus 11 equals 96. Good, all right. So this goes, we've done this plenty of times already. You would combine your like terms and then solve. So I have two x values here, so that would be 2x. And then you would add your whole numbers, which should give you what number? Okay. I subtract. Okay. And then I divide. So 2x equals 26. Divide both sides, and I get 13. X is 13, okay, but your degrees still need to be calculated in order to get this correct. Yes, so you would plug into both angles. Okay, 72, and this one would be 24. Very good. Okay, so my smallest angle is going to be 24, which is across from line. Then I have 72. Good. And your last one is obviously going to be dx. Okay, so the top four are pretty easy. I'm not going to do any of those with y'all because those are pretty easy. We should be getting those right. On the bottom, I'll do one with you. Again, these aren't too difficult. Notice that on this top part, it's saying to solve for x. Okay, so you need to pay attention to what it's asking for because the back is different. So I'll look at number 6 with you. So first of all, it's giving me two angles. Again, these are marked with a square, which means that that is 90 degrees. So we would start by adding the known angles, which would be 150. Okay. From there, you should subtract from 180, which gives you 30. Very good. Okay. So what that means is that this missing angle is 30 degrees. However, that is not your answer because we're solving for x, okay? So So once you do that, you're going to set up your algebra problem, 30x equals 30, which turns out to be a really easy problem. So all you're going to do is divide, which means x equals 1. Okay, so you are going to do the same steps for 5, 7, and 8. You're going to add the known amounts, subtract, solve for x. Okay, now let's turn to the back so I can show you how those work, because those are going to be different. Okay, I will do 2 on the back with you. All right, so let's start with number 9. Notice on this one it's saying to find the measure of angle A. If you look at all the triangles on the back, you will see that A is labeled on every single triangle. That means that is the angle that you are finding. Okay, you don't need to tell me any other angles, just those. So I'm going to look at number 9 first. Notice that only one thing is marked. It is this one. This is important that you know that that equals 90 degrees. Okay? So that's 90 degrees. So we have to use that information to solve for the missing angle. So again, you would start by subtracting from 180, which obviously equals 90, right? Okay? Now, what that means is that the remaining 2 angles equals 90. So again, you're going to set up that problem. 71x minus 1 plus 20x equals 90. Very good. Okay, so those two together equal 90. So from there, you're going to combine your like terms. There's only one whole number, so that's going to stay -1. And you're going to combine these 2 amounts here, which gives you what? 91x. Bring that -1 down. That equals 90. Okay? So now you are going to add 1 to both sides to bring that -1 over. 91x equals 91. So again, you have a problem where x just equals 1. However, x is not your answer, okay? Again, we need to figure out what this angle is. So this angle equals 20x. So all you have to do now is what? Plug in. All right. So 20 times 1 equals 20 degrees. That is your answer. I'll write this here. 20x, then we plug in the 1, and then we multiply and we get our missing angle. Is there any questions on how to do that? So each problem you're just extending. So let's do one more freebie here for you. All right, number 14. All right, so on number 14, what should I start by doing? Let's make sure we're subtracting here. 46, correct? Okay, so next step is to what?
5x plus 2 plus 6x equals 2.
Yes, you're setting up your equation here. Good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to combine my like terms, which gives me what number?
11.
Okay, and then I subtract minus 2. 11x equals 44. And most of you already divided, obviously. So x equals 4. Okay, so again, x is not my solution. That's not my answer. Okay, I need to plug that into where a is. So that means I'm going to do 5 times 4 plus 2. Which equals 22 degrees is my answer. Very good. Okay, so you have 13 questions remaining, all right? So if you do not finish this today, you can turn it in tomorrow, but this will be for a grade, okay?